Hello, friends. This is Dave Hurwitz, executive editor at ClassicsToday.com, here with random reviews from the Overflow room. Yes, with our new UFIP Tam Tam. It's not new, but it's newly hanging there for a while. We'll play with that, and then we'll move on to something else. I've got that enormous wind gong I had up for a while. I may put that one back, too. It's conveniently sitting right over there. Anyway, Bernard Herrmann. We're still working on Bernard Herrmann. We've got 3 more Bernard Herrmann videos, and I'm so excited. Here we have Bernard Herrmann at Fox, Volume 2, world premiere release of the original soundtracks of Garden of Evil. Yeah, that's fun. Prince of Players, and King of the Khyber Rifles. Well, these were things that we haven't heard all that frequently, have we? And this is another Varese Sarabande recording, using the original motion picture soundtrack stuff that Nick Redman put together and produced and rejiggered for us. And we also have actually Volume 1. I can't put these in. Somehow these stayed in order. Don't ask me how. So Volume 1 has Tender is the Night, Man in the Gray Flannel Suit, and The Suite from a Hatful of Rain. I mean, these are really, really rarities. You know, you don't realize. One of the things about Herrmann is that he really wrote much, much more music than just like the famous stuff that we know, North by Northwest and Psycho and stuff like that. I mean, we tend to know the things from the end of his career. But at the beginning of his career, when he was working for CBS and doing radio stuff, there are scores and scores and scores of pieces that he put together. Radio plays, incidental music, all kinds of stuff that's moldering away somewhere. I mean, it exists. Series like this where they at least go back and find the original tapes and make them available gives us a sense of his range, which was exceptional. Just extraordinary. So that's kind of cool. And then, another one of these Decca Phase 4 for Hoogies. I love this series. Oh, this was so much fun. This has Psycho, a narrative for orchestra. This was the 15-minute long, really it's a tone poem that Herrmann put together from the score with, the cues not in the original order, but arranged for concert purposes. Then the Suite from Marnie, the Overture to North by Northwest, a suite from Vertigo, including the love scene, and then a portrait of Hitch from The Trouble with Harry, a wonderful 8-minute suite from that film. These are terrific, and they were all, as I mentioned before, they were all boxed up. And I don't even know if they're still available now, but at least all of his Decca stuff was boxed up and released a couple of years ago. So if you didn't get it then, and you can still find it, I would get it while you can. Or maybe you'll find some of these hopping around. That would be nice. Oh, excuse me. Oh boy, look at this. Baby. Joel McNeely and the Royal Scottish National Orchestra in, we were just talking about Portrait of Hitch, The Trouble with Harry. This is Joel McNeely with the Royal Scottish National Orchestra, produced by Robert Townsend on Varese Sarabande. I adore this score. And this is just a marvelous performance, really. I mean, that whole series that McNeely and Scottish National did was just stunning for everything that they did. But this is particularly enjoyable. This is Bernard Herrmann's Pastoral Symphony. It really is. It takes place in just this super lovely, charming, sweet little rural setting. And of course, the trouble with Harry is that he's dead, and everybody's trying to hide the corpse. It's such a fabulously macabre and funny and warm and witty film. It featured, I believe it was the screen debut, at least in a starring role, of Shirley MacLaine. That was like a big deal. And there she is. That's Shirley MacLaine in her youthage. A fabulous film. Really fat. A wonderful, wonderful recording. It was great music, perfectly matching the setting. All of that sort of brooding angst that Herrmann is famous for. He managed to purge himself of at least most of it for this particular piece and create something of such charm and innocence that so fabulously plays off the grotesque goings on in the movie itself. It's just incredible. And then the unused score for Torn Curtain, again featuring Joel McNeely. Joel McNeely, at this time the National Philharmonic Orchestra. This was a fabulous score. I mean, we all know the story, right? This is what caused the great rift between Herrmann and Hitchcock, because Herrmann wrote the score and he used a lot of brass, and it's a very grim score with a very hard, biting, dark edge. It's fabulous music, and it's a big score. It's a big, chunky thing, and Hitchcock didn't use it. He refused to use it because partly it may have been, their personalities clashing once and for all. And after they broke up, Herrmann was much nicer to Hitchcock than Hitchcock was to Herrmann, which is actually fairly difficult because Herrmann could really be tough, and so could Hitchcock. But the bottom line is that the studio wanted, pop music. They wanted a hit song. Herrmann was saying, screw that, I'm doing what I want. And that was the end of one of the great relationships between a composer and a filmmaker. And the score was never used. So actually, it's not a bad thing, because we only have it in one form, which is the complete score as Herrmann wrote it. So you get to hear, the whole thing pure and unadulterated and uncut and schmageggied with. That's a good thing, but the whole story is really rather sad. So there we have it for this batch. Keep on listening, friends. Thanks for joining me. Take care.